challenges. Today, we're diving into the intriguing world of cold cases, those mysteries that remain unsolved for years, sometimes even decades. We'll be looking at a specific example, the disappearance challenges, to sometimes even decades. We'll be looking at a specific example, the disappearance of Sarah Beth Monroe from Pine Bluff in 1998, a case that has puzzled investigators for a long time. It's a great way to understand how detectives work. Our debate question for today is, what are the most crucial strategies and tools for solving cold cases, especially when they've gone unsolved for decades? We'll explore how intuition, new technology, and persistence all play a role. To help us understand this complex topic, we have two incredible debaters. First, we have Eleanor, representing Detective Ginny O'Malley, a detective renowned for her work on cold cases and her sharp intuition. And joining her is Sophie, representing Detective Miller, an FBI data analyst who brings a wealth of knowledge about forensic advancements and how data can unlock old secrets. This topic is so important for all of us, especially for students, because it teaches us about critical thinking, problem solving, and the enduring pursuit of justice. It shows how every small detail can matter. We'll start with opening remarks, then move into a discussion, followed by rebuttals, and finally our conclusions. Eleanor, let's begin with your opening thoughts on solving these challenging cases.
Thank you, Lila. When we talk about cold cases, especially those involving someone as unique as Sarah Beth Monroe, intuition is paramount. Mr. Vance, who knew her, described her as a prodigy, brilliant and sensitive. Understanding her emotional state, particularly through her final composition, The Silence After, is crucial. It's about listening to the unspoken. I agree that understanding the victim is vital, Eleanor, but how do we move from intuition to actionable evidence? While Sarah Beth's music might be haunting, as Mr. Vance described, we need concrete data. How can we objectively analyze those dissonances and unresolved chords to find clues that stand up in court?
That's a great point, Sophie. So Eleanor highlights the intuitive understanding of Sarah Beth's emotional state through her music, while Sophie asks how we translate that into tangible evidence. How do we bridge that gap between intuitive insights and actionable evidence in cold cases?
Well, Lila, it starts with the human element. Mr. Vance's recollection that Sarah Beth was upset months before her disappearance, mentioning old wounds and things people pretend never happened, isn't just a feeling. It's a direct lead. We encourage victims, or in this case, their art, to express those sensitive topics. Her music becomes a coded diary.
And that's where data analysis comes in. If her music is a coded diary, we need the tools to decode it. We can use forensic musicology to analyze patterns, or even AI to look for anomalies in her compositions that correlate with her emotional state. Plus, the missing journal, the peculiar pick, and the ring are all physical data points that need rigorous forensic examination.
But the meaning behind the music, the desperate yearning for resolution Mr. Vance sensed, that's not something a computer can fully grasp. It's about empathy, understanding the psychological pressures on a prodigy, and how those old wounds manifest creatively. It's about connecting with the human story. I'd argue that technology can help us find those connections. If Sarah Beth was channeling her emotions, we might find recurring musical motifs or structural changes that align with specific emotional states. We can then cross-reference those with witness statements, like Mr. Vance's, to build a more complete picture. It's about finding the data within the art.
So, Eleanor emphasizes the emotional and intuitive understanding, while Sophie focuses on data and technology to validate those insights. This brings us to family secrets, like the mention of an estranged Uncle Martin. How do these types of leads fit into your strategies? Are they more about intuition or data?
Family secrets are almost always uncovered through careful, empathetic interviews. Mr. Vance's vague memory of an uncle considered the black sheep of the family, someone her mother never discussed, is a classic intuitive lead. It's about building trust and reading between the lines of what people don't say.
While interviews are crucial, data can help confirm or expand on these leads. For instance, digital forensics might uncover old communications, or public records could reveal connections or discrepancies related to this estranged uncle. The missing journal, if found, would be a treasure trove of personal data that could shed light on these family dynamics. But the impact of those secrets on Sarah Beth, her distraction, her old wounds, that's something you glean from personal accounts, not just data. Her music reflects that internal turmoil, the weight of those unspoken truths. And that internal turmoil, if expressed in her music, could be analyzed for patterns. We could look for specific musical motifs that appear when she's discussing old wounds or things people pretend never happened. It's about finding the data within the art, even if it's abstract.
It sounds like both approaches see value in Sarah Beth's composition and her personal life. Given the pressure on a prodigy, how do we ensure we're not just projecting meaning, but finding concrete clues that lead to answers?
It's about triangulation, Layla. Mr. Vance's observations, the music's emotional quality, and the missing items. The journal, the pick, the ring, all point to a narrative. The music isn't just art, it's a coded message that aligns with other pieces of the puzzle.
Exactly. And the peculiar discarded pick or missing ring are physical data points. They need forensic analysis. The journal, if found, is a treasure trove of data. We need to combine the intuitive understanding of the art with the hard evidence to avoid projection and find verifiable facts. Ultimately, it's about understanding Sarah Beth as a person, not just a case file. Her brilliance, her sensitivity, her unique way of expressing herself through music, that's the key to unlocking her secrets and understanding what truly happened. And technology allows us to amplify that understanding, to find patterns and connections that a human eye might miss, especially when dealing with decades-old information. It's about making the invisible visible and providing the empirical proof needed to solve these cases.
Fascinating. So whether through deep empathetic understanding or cutting-edge data analysis, the goal remains the same, to piece together the fragments of the past and bring clarity to these enduring mysteries. Thank you, Eleanor and Sophie, for this insightful discussion. Thank you both for such a thought-provoking discussion. As we wrap up today,